we've got a unit of bats out on the flank, backed up by 2 units of knights and 2 units of wolves, a vampire on a black coach with the Sword of Destruction, necromancer with the Rod of Repetition, ethereal hosts, graveguard, skeletons, zombies, and then 2 units of skeletons, vampire lord, zombies, ghouls, skeletons, ghouls, ethereal hosts, zombies, skeletons, graveguard, necromancer with dispel scroll, vampire on terrorgeist or zombie dragon with sword of might, 2 units of wolves, 2 units of knights, and a unit of bats.
We've got a big brigade of infantry over here, 2 units of crossbows, 2 units of spears, another with a sorceress there commanding those, some bolt throwers, along with another brigade of 2 crossbows backed up with 1 unit of spearmers in the middle. Behind them, some harpies. The Hydra, 2 units of black riders, general on Manticore, because we're going to Warmaster and you might need a general who can fight and kill stuff in the last scenario, and a brigade of cold ones. I know some of them look like Chaos Warriors and some of them look like Chariot Riders, but they are cold ones. Another hero and a brigade over there, which is Witch Elves, backed up with Corsairs, so more infantry. So over here, managed to get an order off to get a big brigade up near one of the objectives on the hill there. After some measuring confusion, realised the sorceress was out of range to order this other brigade, so they didn't move orders from her, but later the general managed to get them to stumble forward 1 order. The Hydra moved up, Dark Riders moved up, and over here the other 2 units have all moved up. So in an uncharacteristic display of caution, I've not gone racing across the board and into combat.
So the vampire ordered the knights and wolves up into that position, then did first order successfully onto this brigade, second order blundered and rolled a 5, so couldn't issue any more orders, but they're fine. The necromancer then tried to issue the bats and blundered on a double 6 and rolled a 5, so no more orders on that one. The general just moved these 2 brigades up happily, and the vampire on this side just moved these units up quite happily, and the necromancer moved this unit up. Spells, cast Van Hell's Dance Macabre on the bats, which flew them up behind enemy lines. And then on this side, failed to cast Doom Bolt and successfully cast Doom Bolt. Did 1 hit on the cold ones, pushed them back, but none failed their confusion rolls. And that was basically it. Slow and steady.
Okay, so over here, I failed an order, but the brigade stumbled forward into the wood and has claimed the objective. The general later failed an order, which meant most of his brigade, most of the troops near him didn't move. However, the Dark Riders did stumble into range to shower pointy death on some flyers there and drive them off a bit. Over here, this brigade turned around and shot this brigade off this unit off the board, which led to some slight rules confusion that we'll need to check on later, but they've basically reappeared. And over here, this unit shuffled up on the hill just ready to receive any sort of charge that might be forthcoming. The sorceress bounced forward and tried to doom bolt them, but failed to get that off.
Okay, so our glorious vampire failed the order onto this brigade, so they just moved 15 centimetres across. Little necromancer passed the order onto these, and they've just pushed forward with the zombies staying behind to claim the objective. And over this side, the general did a lot of legwork, bounding these guys up into the woods successfully and pushing these guys just forward to kind of fill the hole. This vampire failed the order onto this brigade, so they stumbled forward. The wizard could only order the wolves, which have moved round, and the general also pushed forward the bats over into a annoying position once again, probably to get shot to death, but that's how bats work.
Okay, so over at this end of the park, the hero failed his order on the big Cold One Brigade, so they stumbled forward slightly. The sorceress decided there was nothing she actually wanted to order over here, so she passed. So it was down to the general, who ordered the Cold One Knights round, the Dark Riders round, but failed a second order, so they've just showered death on a unit of bats, wiping them out. Meanwhile, the brigade over here showered death on the other units of bats and wiped them out.
So this side, our glorious vampire once again failed an order. So they've just shuffled across into a threatening posture. These guys failed an order as well and just pushed forward 10. On this side, we managed to get a double order off to get the cavalry into the Cold Ones. Tried to raise dead behind and cast it successfully, but then it was dispel scrolled and failed to cast it a second time. These guys failed an order, and these guys moved across, and these have just pushed forward a little bit. The combat was pure rubber lance syndrome and basically drew the combat despite my extra attacks and terror, and bounced off. And I think they're probably going to get consumed in the next turn.
So the brigade over on the hill here was in range, so did some shooting, which has broken up the brigade opposing it, much to my relief. So there was a bit of shooting there. Over here, the general failed to really move troops around very much. However, initiative charges by the Cold One Knights has rather smashed a hole in the centre of everybody's lines here. So quite a few dead knights. Quite a few dead Cold One Knights as well. Yeah, including a vampire as well. Oh, yeah, and my general also blundered. That was what caused things to go badly. He blundered, so he's now only level 9.
Over this side, the unit was too far away to be ordered in, the far one, because the formation got broken up by the shooting. So the Necromancer could only get this unit to charge in, but then he cast Van Hells and managed to get the other unit of knights in. Charged up the hill, 24 glorious attacks. They did 1 wound, and so lost the combat and pulled back. But luckily, only took 3 wounds between the 2 units in the ensuing combat, and Tom did not follow up. So that was that side done. In the middle, the ghosts charged into the Cold Ones for hope of butchering them up, and got in and did some damage and wrapped around, but didn't manage to finish them off. So the Cold Ones are there on 1 wound, and the ghosts took 3 wounds. And that was it, really. Very unproductive. The dogs finally died after taking the wounds off the Cold Ones, but not killing them. And yeah, on to, well, it would be the next turn, but we've decided to call it there because it's been 2.5 hours already. But yeah, don't really know where the game sits.